Okay, Tania, Generation 1 makes a stop here in Cairns today. You've been travelling for a while now. Where do you move on after Cairns?
My team heads to Chalice Towers tomorrow. I pick it up in Townsville Friday morning, and then we go from Townsville down to, I think it's Mackay, then Rockhampton, or Rockhampton, then Mackay. I don't really know the geography of Queensland. I should know. I'm an adamant Queenslander. Anyway, then we go from there to Brisbane, and from Brisbane to Coffs Harbour, then back to Sydney. So we have been travelling so far all around the country for 8 weeks.
With all these stops, what's, for example, 3 key messages you guys are trying to get across to the wider community here in Australia through Generation 1?
The first key message is that for so long in Australia, the plight of Aboriginal people have either been a black problem or a government problem. In actual fact, it's an Australian problem. And the only way we're going to change that is when Australians come together and unite and say enough is enough, and how do we stop poverty and end the disparity in Aboriginal Australia. The second message is that it's about real job outcomes. It's urging business people across this country to say, hey, you know what? The only way we're going to end this poverty, we're going to end this disparity is by pledging real jobs. And not just jobs, but jobs for the market that's required. For so long we know that Indigenous people have been trained continuously. There's this cycle of training with no real employment outcomes. And so we're hoping that we're going to end this by real job outcomes. And the third is that we all can make a difference. We all can make a difference by stepping up and taking responsibility. What I mean by taking responsibility is the sense that when you see a black fellow walking down the street, how do you step back and put yourself in their shoe and feel compassion? How do you feel compassion? Not because he's black, but compassion for humanity. How do you stand back and realise that, you know, their story is just as important as my story? But what is their story? Why are the choices their life? Why is their life the way there is? In Australia, we don't do that. We don't actually do that. We're so quick to judge. Oh, look at that black fella there down the street. He's a drain on the public purse, you know? And so we're saying to all Australians, you can and me together can make a big difference.
Okay, you yourself, you know, being a young Indigenous person here in Australia, we've seen a lot of different groups come up and want to do projects like this. How important is Generation 1 to you?
Generation 1 is vital. I mean, people have gone on, we've seen a lot of scepticism around, oh yes, it's another feel-good. No, it's not. The other programs with Reconciliation Australia, etc., Generation 1 is just a stepping stone from when Reconciliation Australia and other campaigns have come about. And Generation 1 is the core. And you know why it's the core? It's because we've got backers like Andrew Forrest, James Packer and Kerry Stokes. We've got people who are actually successful in their lives, who've gone enough is enough. But they can't do it alone. And the timing's right. Given them with the apology, the timing's right. And it's time for change now. So all the you know, the sceptical people out there, the cynical people, get up and make a difference. And once you change the way you look at a black fella, Australia changes.
Tania Major, thank you very much.
Thank you, Marcus.